Welcome to Garden Plants with Jim Putnam. Let's talk about Soft Caress Mahonia. So this is Soft Caress Mahonia, and if you were touching this thing right now, you'd know why. There's a lot of Mahonia species and hybrids out on the market that are really very, very prickly. And Soft Caress has this incredible texture to it without any of that thorniness to it. And so this plant, the texture of this plant, what it offers in a shade garden is incredible. How it contrasts against different leaf types, how different leaf colors is just incredibly striking. You can use this plant to really change a shade garden space in a hurry. It's got year-round interest with the winter flowering, which the pollinators like. This blue-green foliage is year-round. It was the I think 2013 Chelsea won the Chelsea Flower Show for Plant of the Year. And you can see why. It's just absolutely incredible. So Soft Caress is an evergreen, so it's going to look like this year-round. And then sometime in the fall, you're going to start see these yellow spiky flowers that stand up big and tall in the plant, and they'll go fall right through winter on warmer days. So in the peak of the winter, they'll kind of slow down and stop, but you'll see them on both sides of the coldest part of the winter. Pollinators absolutely love them. The berries eventually become kind of a bluish color, and then the birds will take those as well. They're hardy in zone 7 to 9. In zone 7, I'd probably spring plant them if you're in zone 7A. Let them get a season in the ground before they experience that first winter, and maybe even have them in a slightly sheltered location in 7A as well. Ultimately, Soft Caress will get about 3 feet in height, something like that, and 3.5 feet wide or so, and then a little wider in time. It will definitely take a little bit more space as time goes. Really easy to cut any growth out that's getting wider, though. Really easy to control the size on it. We have this one elevated in a container, and we can move it basically around our part shade and shade spaces and really show off this foliage against gold foliage things, purple foliage things, all kinds of spaces you can use this plant to really show it off and see its value. They're great as accent plants, which is kind of how we're using it here. Again, good in a container, although I probably wouldn't do this in zone 7. Zone 8 or 9, it can overwinter in the container just fine. You can mass plant these and really look great mass planted. I've seen that around a shade patio, a photo before where it's around a shade patio, and then there was some purple heuchera planted around it and another variegated Mojo pittosporum. I saw this photo that those 3 things together looked really great. So rock garden, it's in the shade, some sort of Asian garden, just a great plant, a lot of different uses in part shade or shade conditions. In the landscape, I find that Soft Caress Mahonia really does like fertile, kind of well-drained soil. So we've got, this one's in a container, but when we have them in the ground, a little bit of compost added is beneficial. They become really drought tolerant in time, though, just like other Mahonia. It's amazing how once a Mahonia is very established in the landscape, how little additional water it needs in the future. Adaptable to a lot of different soil types. If you're in clay soils, I'd mound them up just a little bit. They want, well-draining soil, and slightly acidic soil is really best for them. Soft Caress is extremely low maintenance. I mean, really low maintenance. If you needed to control the width a little bit, you can just go, it has a caning growth habit. The canes come up from the bottom, almost like a bamboo or nandina or other plants that kind of do this, just kind of cane from the bottom. You can go in here and cut this cane just directly to the ground and to narrow it in some. That's the kind of pruning I would do to it. I wouldn't never really come across the top of it and prune it from like this. It's more about just controlling the width of it, because the height is kind of going to be fixed between 2.5, 3 feet tall, something like that. We fertilize this entire garden in the late winter with a slow release fertilizer, with a organic fertilizer, which is naturally slow releasing, and that's it. It doesn't really need a whole lot of additional fertilizer. Really pest resistant. I don't really have any real pest problems with these. It's one of the reasons Mahonia are used in the landscape. Some of our Mahonia varieties, other other cultivars of various Mahonias are invasive out in the world. This is not. Overall, very pest-resistant plant. So we just love this thing. It offers so much texture here in the garden, and really without being picky and just being super, super easy and low maintenance. And again, once you get it rooted into the ground, wherever you're using it, you're really not even gonna have to do a whole lot of ongoing watering on it. If it's in the ground, we would have it mulched. We would, to control that soil moisture a little bit, keep the weeds away from it. And that mulch breaking down is helping feed the plant as well. So, Soft Caress Mahonia. Thanks for watching.